Hey, it is Ryan Seacrest. There's something so thrilling about playing Chumba Casino. Maybe it's the simple reminder that with a little luck, anything is possible. ChumbaCasino.com has hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from with new game releases each week. Play for free anytime, anywhere for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another episode of 360 and Me. I have one of my favorite guests back hanging out with me, Miss Wandra Cain. Hey, Wandra.
Hi, Miss Kimberly. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, it is my pleasure, and I'm excited about being back. And having a conversation with you. So before we kind of dive into our conversation, we'll get a little quick background of who you are. So Wandra Cain, she is the principal designer and CEO of WCA Interiors, LLC. She is the premier interior designer, and she is located in Easton, Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm not going to give all the goodies, so I'm going to let Wandra kind of give a quick background about who she is and what she does and the business just a little bit, and then we're going to dive a little bit more as we continue to have our conversation, because it has been several years since we last talked, so we can't wait to get caught up with you. So go ahead, Wandra.
Well, first of all, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, and thank you again for having me back. So I am Wandra Cain. I am the principal designer of WCA Interiors. We're located in Easton, Pennsylvania, but I often say we serve just not the Lehigh Valley, but we go beyond the state of Pennsylvania into other states. We specialize in residential interior design, but we have been privileged and honored to be doing commercial projects in the last few years. So that was a new opportunity for us to expand. And we're growing each and every day. My team, I always say, you may only see me, but there's always a team behind me. I am very honored to work with some great contractors, architects, and just people. They just help me to grow every day.
All right. Well, yeah, like I said, from the last time we talked, okay, so we're going to, like I said, kind of backtrack, because I think I looked at it, probably has been at least 3 years since we've actually, not so much that we don't communicate, but be able to find out, what's been going on with you, talking about, the beginning of how you started and then where you're at now. It has been a lot of amazing changes. I have been keeping my eye on you.
Thank you.
And have seen some beautiful things that you have been doing throughout your community and outside of your community, and you have grown tremendously. So let's talk just a little bit about how you started and kind of some of the pain points and how you've evolved here, and then now we're in 2023, and so let's hear that little journey that you've been going on.
Well, as you know, I think I told you before I started. Well, I always feel like some of us, I believe it's true that we're born with gifts and talents. So I always say, as a little girl, I was always my grandparents would say I was a little hustler. I would find all kind of ways of jobs of doing things. And one of the things I always loved, coming from a family, I'm just going to say we were poor, but I learned how to take what we had and just create beautiful things. I didn't, at the time, I didn't think they were beautiful things. I just thought it was a way to create a home, a place, something out of nothing. But I realized those talents and gifts have really helped me as I've grown as an interior designer. I learned that one gift and talent I'm very thankful for. I think I've really come into accepting this. You have to have, as an interior designer, you have to have the gift to be able to listen to the client. So with that being said, the more I listen to clients, I realize it's not about me. It's about that person, home, or a business that I'm designing, and listening to what they need, because it's their home, it's their sanctuary, I call it, or their business. So I take those talents and I listen and I incorporate what they want on a budget, because I believe everybody deserves a beautiful place to live. And we always say luxury designers. But to me, luxury can be meaning something to you may mean little or nothing, but somebody else, that's luxury. So I was just having a conversation. I'm going to talk quickly about this. I was having a conversation with someone. They were at my house and they said to me, well, there was another contractor. He looked at me. He said, so he was saying to me, wow, this is not, he said, what made you decide to be an interior designer? And in my home, I have I have pictures of every home I ever lived in. So a little background, something you guys may not know, I'm probably telling my age, but when I was 5 years old, my grandmother, my mom and my grandmother, my mom and I lived in a 2-room house, and my sister. The bathroom was on the outside. The bathroom was on the outside of the house, and I was 5 years old. We only stayed there for a short period of time, but I always remember that. And so when I'm designing bathrooms for people or kitchens for people, I know what it's like not to have a bathroom. So I'm always saying to someone, a bathroom is a luxury. You don't have to have 5 bathrooms in your house, but if you have 1 bathroom, that's a luxury. So I put my all into designing that bathroom because I know what it is not to have. So I think those characteristics of things that have happened to me in my life helps me be a better designer to my clients. And I know how to work with a budget for people. So in that process of me growing as a designer since the last time I've been given the opportunity to speak to you, I remember I have had opportunity to work with people who some have a lot of money and some who don't have a lot of money. But the one thing I always said to my contractor, I treat that client, the millionaire client, I treat him the same way as that client who may have $100,000. I don't look at, oh, this is the person with all the money, I'm gonna make their house better. I treat every client with integrity, respect. I act like it's my house because I know I would want my home to be done correctly. And I think those things every day, it's challenging. It's very challenging to try to do right when you're working with different people. But I always have to say my foundation of my business is built on my integrity. All I have is my name, and my name is what God has given me. And I look at God saying, thank you, God, for this opportunity. So I try to do my best. And I have been blessed. Like I said, I've worked on a commercial project with a.
Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody. Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Open up a restaurant for someone. I was chosen by these people. And what I've learned, Kimberly, when you do your best, God will make room for your gift. Because there's a lot of interior designers in the Lehigh Valley. But one of my contractors that I work with, he recommended me to these people. And that's how I got the job. It wasn't me going out on social media or whatever, but it was the name and me doing good work and him watching me. He recommended me to someone else.
Right. And usually it's about not so much what you know as it is more who you know.
Yes.
So like you said, you doing good work, people pay attention even when you don't think people are, right? And you've been, how many years has it been now you actually have been doing your business?
In the Lehigh Valley, I always said legally with the papers and getting a degree and going through all this stuff. This is my 7th, 8th year I'm starting. Okay. But it seemed like for me, honestly, in the last 3 years, I took it because my husband used to say to me, Wandra, you're doing all this work, but your income is not showing. Is it a hobby for you? And I would get upset, like, this is not a hobby. I wasn't making the money because I didn't value what I had to offer. And I didn't know how to say, I'm charging this because I know I have a lot to bring to the table. Who's just doing the work. But then when I came into valuing what I brought to the table, I was like, oh, this is how it works. So I feel like my business, I could say I'm making an income from it. So I hope
and that's an important thing to talk about, because we all know that coming into business, there's a lot of times we feel like we have to constantly show people who we are, what we're doing, and we know our value, but the problem is that we're concerned about whether other people know our value.
Yes.
And so we lowball ourselves.
Yes.
We still do the same amount of work or even better because you're trying to prove something.
Yes.
But like your husband said, at the end of the day, it's not a hobby, because everything that you're doing is costing you money. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just about breaking even or, trying to show somebody that you're valued. They're either going to value or they're not.
They're not. And you have to make up your mind saying, I had to come into the thing of saying, it's okay if they say they don't want to go with me. I'm not going to take my price down just to get the job. I used to do that a lot, Kimberly. I would work myself to death. And it was overwhelming. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And then it's like one day, things happen in my life to show me, you're going to either stand up for yourself or you're going to. So I just decided, this is my presentation. This is what I charge. If you decide not to go with me, I thank you for the opportunity of just calling me to let me present to you, but I'm not going to go down half price just to be working.
Exactly. And that's the thing. So, it's you've grown throughout the last 8 years, and obviously you've been doing this more than 8 years, because that's, as you do it for yourself and like say, people, you realize that, this is truly something that you want to do for a living, right? So, it's important to be able to know that what you've developed after all these years, and really, when you think about it, from the time you were 5 years old, you already had it in you that there was things that you could do to make things look pretty, because you didn't have what you need. It's not so much, I don't think, what you needed, but it was maybe what you had desired as a little kid. But at the end of the day, you made it work, right? Yeah. And so I think that's a lot of the issue with people today, is that they have certain desires. A lot of it is they can't afford it. Mm-hmm. Some of them just want to have it because they can, but then at the same time, they don't value what they have, right? Yeah. So, when you're putting in all this extra time and effort in order to make someone's home, the glam of the gram, for them, because you want them to have that, like you said, when you're at home, that is your place, that's your sanctuary. So every room should to be what you want it to be. Yeah. And you learning to value and listen to people, that is the key, because we all have our own thought process of how things should, when you walk into somebody's home, or, even when we walk in our room, I walk in there and I'm like, yep, that needs to be changed. That needs to be changed. That needs to be added. And, I definitely don't compare myself as an interior decorator to you, but I definitely love to design my own style, my own thoughts about what I see when I walk through the door, and what I feel needs to be done. And, the key is that, when you think about all the years that we, to some degree, some people are still working from home on a regular basis. Oh, yes. And think about all the things that they've had to deal with in the last several years of the pandemic going on. Matter of fact, there are times today that this is literally the third year that they're still trying to figure out what's going on with, all the stuff that we've had to deal with in the last 3 years. But being at home was an eye-opener for a lot of people. So during that time up till now, did you have a lot more people reaching out to you, trying to determine, hey, I'm sitting in this house all day long, I hate what I'm seeing, what can I do now, or what can I do later? Any thought process to that?
Yeah. So I will mention one thing. As you said, I think also one thing we have to consider. I did this today when I think I spoke to you. I walked through my own home, and I often do this. And I ask myself, how do I feel in my space? Because I just feel like this is your place where you live, you gotta feel, it gotta make you feel joyful. I don't care if it's a small space, but you need this. How do you feel in your space? So when as you asked me that question, I thought about that today earlier, and then you asked me about did I get a lot. So in the first 2 years of COVID, I didn't, but last year, coming into last year, I did get a lot of calls of And one thing people realized, while we was in COVID, I think people started just getting stuff. You know, they didn't know how to make their home office their home office. They was like, okay, I needed this, I need this. They were so trying to find a way to find their own space. They just started getting stuff, and the stuff wasn't the right scale. They didn't care. I just need people were in closets. So after, I guess, people realized
how to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody. Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Concept of a home. I know so many people used to all wanted the open floor plans where everybody could be open. But then when COVID hit, people was like, I need a wall up, put me a whatever. I need my space. So I'm realizing now what I see people is that's when it goes back to what do you need? You know, some people get caught up in trends, but you have to ask yourself, what do I need in my space? Not what do somebody else is saying I need, but what do I need? Do I need a room that I can close my door? What about the lighting? What about my computer? People didn't have the right electrical plugs for everything that when they had to bring stuff inside their home. It's so many things now people think about. Oh my God, when I designed this room, I didn't even think about I needed this here. I didn't even think about. So you start thinking about all those things you need if you're working from home. I laughed because my husband was like, I don't like working from home. And I was like, why? He said, because at work, when I get hungry, I just have to go through. When I'm at home, I find myself getting up, going to the pantry, getting stuff. I was like, but dude, we don't need this for you, because you pick up habits and you're like, so many things, We even like when people was like, that lived in a place where they couldn't just walk out on it. They wanted the fresh air. So now I see people saying they want to do their outdoor space more because they want to be out of their homes. They were closed up in their homes so much. Now they want a patio or they want a porch or something where they can go outside their home. Or so many things I hear people saying, okay, I got to redo this, and I laugh because people want every child to have their own room. But I realized something. I was talking to this one lady and I was just sharing my thing. I said, it's amazing. People want more bathrooms. They may want more rooms. But during when people were all at home together, this lady said, sometimes I wish my kids didn't have their own room. I wanted them to come out of their room with their gadgets and be together. So it makes you think about what do I really need in a home? Because kids go in their room, they close the door, and she was like, it was like we were in the house, but we weren't in the house. Everybody was in their space. And she was saying, she said, you know what? I told my husband, we're going to change this. We're going to have to open up a room where everybody can be in one room together. And, so different people wanted different things. Some people wanted the space and some people wanted the bigger house. With people with the bigger homes, they wanted everybody to come together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and that makes sense because, like I said, it was an opportunity during that time where people actually had to sit down and pay attention to what was surrounding them. Things that they didn't have time for because everybody's so scattered, just running, doing what they need to do. You get home, kids, you go there, you come together for maybe 5 minutes to eat, and then they're right back to doing what they need to do. So that was a time frame that everybody got to look not just at their outside world, but also within themselves, right? To see to see what was needed and what was required of them. You know, like you were saying earlier, do you really have to have these things? You know, what was the most important part about what they seen? And it sounded like in that little bit of conversation you just did, the fact that was most important was just family. It wasn't the materialistics, but at the same time, they're living in an environment where they couldn't even coordinate themselves in order to be in one room. So it's funny how we all live in a journey of where we think that we have to do certain things in order to feel comfortable. We have to have these certain items, but it's the things that, like I said, that make you the most comfortable, make you stick out the most, that in your mind is what truly makes you happy. And you do that. So when you go into somebody's home, or if you're in a commercial property, it's still something that one or two things, whatever it is you're doing at that moment, and when it's done, you have fulfilled something within inside them. And that's the dream, you know, the same way you fulfill yourself when you walk through the door, when you look at everything that you have done. And, you know, I always say, you know, I hate people like you because I know everything is perfect. you have the eye, right? But at the same token, it's the same of, like I said, listening to people's habits and understanding what they mean like, and then giving them, you're tweaking them to make it not just something that they can live with, but something they can be proud of, right?
Yes. And so, you know, one of the projects I did at the end of last year was about took us like 6 months, but I got to do a Airbnb. It was a house, and we turned it to Airbnb. But it was amazing that the people, when I was designing for them, they were asking me, well, what do you think? And so sometimes we think when people go to an Airbnb, they just want to get away. So, but I took a different approach, and I was glad the clients listened to me. And one of the things, you go on a vacation, sometimes you don't want a TV in a room. You want to go on a vacation, have a beautiful view, a big bed. And so I was thinking about, just think, if you really was tired, you're not going to go on a vacation and lay up in a hotel the whole time watching TV. So to me, why do people just think you got to have a TV in the bedroom? And I said, you're getting away from the noise. What they want is a comfortable bed. They want a bed. You know, people don't think about it. So when I'm designing a bedroom with somebody, I said, they go, I said, what about the mattress? You know, people they don't think about the bedroom. You got to have a comfortable mattress. You want a good night's sleep. So you got to layer it in like that. People, when they design, they're just picking out pretty stuff. But you got to think about your health and your wellness and what you need. And a good night's sleep goes well with a good mattress. You know?
And you're right, though. And you're absolutely right. And that's the thought process. I think a lot of times, of course, now we know Airbnb is getting much, much more popular all the time. Yes. But the key about the Airbnb, or whether it's Vrbo or whatever they use, the key about it is, like you said, you're on vacation. So your whole goal, yes, you want to have the glitz and the glam, but if the stuff that you're sitting on isn't comfortable, or the stuff that you're eating and using is a piece of junk, and you're paying for junk, you can do that back at home.
And I see a lot of people that have these Airbnb. I'm like, the furniture is crap. No, not the furniture is crap. Like,
yes, you're right. I see
nice,
that. And people pay for the crap.
Yes. So I'm not your designer if that's what you're looking for, because I'm not going to change just because this is my budget. I'm just throwing something together. No, that's just not who I am. So let's sit down, have a conversation. What would you like if you was spending your hard-earned money to go somewhere? Would you want a mattress with the springs you could fill them, or you sitting on a sofa? Think about that. Treat people the way I am a big thing that what you put out there and you treat, it's gonna come back to you.
Absolutely.
So the greed of just throwing something together for people to come in, and then people are like, well, they're gonna come in and treat it any kind of way. Well, if you set it up with junk, that's what they're gonna do. Most people with this nice stuff, they kind of think this is nice. You go to a nice hotel, you ain't in there. You treating it good because it's nice.
Exactly, and that's a good key point. That when you're right. When I'm in a hotel, I think about, okay, I'm not here to pay for I'm out here somewhere on the street. I want to walk in my room. I want it to be comfortable. I want to make sure that my bed is right. I want to know if I'm in a suite that I have everything that I need to have being in a suite, that comfort. Because that's what I'm paying for. It's comfort and looking good. I guess the attitude too is that the way I live at home is the same way I want to be when I'm out at the hotel or even better, right?
My husband said, Wandra's a hotel snob. I feel like if I am going to go to a hotel, it needs to be better than my home, or at least at that same level. I'm not going to pay money to go to a hotel that's worse. I can stay at home and why would you want to go on a vacation to a place where you got to keep your clothes on, or you I don't want to lay on the mattress, or you walk in the room and it smells, the carpet is nasty. So yeah, I guess I'm a hotel snob. Call me that.
Exactly. And that's not being snobbish. It's just you have value and respect for yourself. And so that's exactly what you show your clients all the time. And no matter where it's at, like I said, whether it's commercial or whether it's private, the key thing is that's the comfort that people want. They're paying you to, granted, like I said, you're listening to them, but at the same time, they're paying you to give them what they don't sometimes want to hear, but need to hear.
You need to hear. And I always said your budget, and I understand, like I said, I listen to the budget, but there's certain things we need to put more money on than we need to put on other things.
Exactly.
That's why I tell people, I'm going to say this, an area rug, I'm this like this. I hear people like, oh, I spent $5,000 on an area rug. Let's be real. I don't need a rug to sit on the floor that I don't want nobody to walk on. Why would I want to put that much in a rug? But hey, to each their own. If you got millions of dollars and that's what you want to do, I'd rather put that into the mattresses or the bed frame itself. So I always tell people, let's just think about it now. You like this rug, and this rug costs this much. Now we can get this rug over here for maybe $500. It'll last maybe 10 years if but if you got this, you want to spend $10,000 on this rug, it's going to last you for your life and somebody else's life, because you ain't going to want nobody really walking.
Look, and even if you sell it with the house, ain't nobody paying for the rug. It's already paid.
I don't like that. I see a lot of people with money, and they like, I paid. Well, let me say that. They'll tell me how much they paid for something. I go, oh, that is so nice, and I'm going,
right. It's like, okay.
But that person coming behind you, they don't care about that. They want to wallpaper. They'll tell me, I paid this much money for this wallpaper. And I go, okay. When somebody else get their house, they're going to take that wallpaper down. They don't care. So that goes back again to say, you're designing for yourself. And if you have it, go for it. But just always think, don't do it for other people behind you. So I hope that.
Right. And that also goes to the fact that when it comes time for them to decide to move, is that a lot of people don't understand is that it's not fair for them to think about, oh, I put this much money, this much time in, and I want my money back because this is what I did. Yeah, but that's what you want.
That's what you want.
That doesn't necessarily mean that the person coming behind you you want the same thing. So granted, yes, a nice place sells the house, but at the end of the day, if your only whole purpose was to add all these extra things in this home, the materialistic side of it, because you think you're going to get your money back, it's like, okay, really, you got to think a little bit more outside the box, get out of the square, trying to put that hole in the square that doesn't fit type attitude. But this is actually a good segue into talking about, what some little bit of advice would you give about how can you spruce up certain things within your home this year? My thought process this year is a new year, new vibe, and new goals. And so, in other words, it's not about just having, I'm going to set my resolution, and of course, next month is February, which is literally around the corner. 90% of the people are going to forget that so-called resolution that they've set. So, it's really, truly about identifying the needs. What is it? What specific area? It doesn't even have to be a full room. I think a lot of people have a misconception of thinking that they have to change everything within their environment in order to make themselves happy. It may just be a corner. It may be a chair. It could be anything. So give some advice on what would you do to spruce up your home for 2023.
Okay. So one thing I asked, I guess when I was walking around my own house today and I was looking at stuff. So when you talk about resolution, I hadn't made one. I'm not doing that. I'm just now really thinking about it. But one thing I think I tell people when they first come in, they say, okay, I want to spruce up. Look around your space and ask yourself, What do I like about this space? What do I not like? It's kind of like decluttering. Like, okay, how do I feel when I go in here? Is it anything I want to move around, or is it anything? So anything you want to move around or change, and you can do these things on a budget. So here's 3 things I always tell people to do.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody. Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You can do easy on a budget. If you want to change your paint color of your room. If that color is, not to say you got to be with the trend. I'm not a person who says go with the trends, because my color, I like my color. I don't care about the trend, but because I bring color in other ways. But if there's a way you say, okay, I don't like this color no more. A gallon of paint, you can paint your room. $60 for a good gallon of paint. You have paint now with primer in it. Take a weekend, paint your walls. That's the number one way you can do it. If you say, oh, I love my paint, but I have a room and I have a sofa, I want to keep my furniture. Go in their living room, go get you some fresh pillows. Change the pillows out on your sofa. I am big on green plants. I like the oxygen it brings. Try a new plant. Bring in a plant. Find a ways a plant you love, and that greenery would just change your room. Then the other thing is lighting. If you need to change your lights out in your room, what kind of lighting you need. Now there's another one I always say that people don't think about a lot is just going in, rearranging your furniture. Sometimes just take everything out the room. Yep. Just move everything out the space. Then just start putting, let me put this sofa on this wall for a moment. See how you feel over there. You be like, wow, sit in it for a day. Sometimes people are like, no, you didn't give it a chance. Just put it over there. Let it sit on that wall for a day. And then just rearrange the furniture around. You would be surprised. You didn't have to paint. You didn't have to do nothing but shift that furniture around the room. Right. That's so easy. So that's, people think, oh, I gotta go. No, your furniture just needs to be, it really was never in the right place. You just put it in there. So maybe now just take everything out, take time, and just think about, okay, this could go here. I'm gonna take this and put it here. My window treatments, I'm gonna go freshen up my window treatments. I'm gonna give me some new curtains and put up, new drapes, hang them up. Like I said, an area rug, and you just created a whole new room, and you didn't spend probably no money. You didn't paint. All you did go home. I'm just gonna say, Home Goods. If you're on a budget and you want some nice drapes, go to Home Goods. They have all kind of. I tell people, now this is how I tell people if they're going to Home Goods. If you go to Home Goods and they got 10 pair of those drapes, don't get them, because you know what? You're gonna go to your friend's house around the corner and she gonna have the same drapes. But if they got one or two, grab them. And if you get them and you take them home and they don't work, you can always take them back. So I'm not the designer who wants you to have everything just like, I shop for the one or two things. And that's what Home Goods have sometimes. You got to get it when it's there. But if they got 10 pieces of art, everybody got that picture, leave that picture in the store. Because you're going to go on a Zoom and your friend going to have that same picture on her wall. You're going to be like, man, it doesn't. So do you?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I try to tell people I have nothing against Home Goods, because what Home Goods does is they go to High Point Market where a lot of designers go and get their stuff. And they go and they take a big truck and they take it and they shop and they take it to all their Home Goods. So I'm telling you the secret. I see the same thing at Home Goods that I see when I go to High Point Market to the designer big shows. What they do is they have buyers and they picking stuff. They ask designers, what do you like? And they going in and they picking stuff. And then they take this stuff and they put it on a truck and they take it to all their places. So when you see some of these designers online and they got stuff, and they'll tell you it came from Home Goods because that's where it came from. So I'm telling you, you can find goods. You just got to have that eye, and you got to be like, wow, and think like this. If you see something that somebody else may not like and you like it, get it, girl. It fits your spirit. Exactly. It fits your spirit. You don't have to care about what Sally and Sue and all of them think. It's your house. If you like it, put it in your house. That's how I feel. I don't try to persuade people to do what everybody else is doing. It's your home. Feel stuff that looks good to you. You know, I think I told you this before. If you call me and say, hey, Wandra, I want you to design my space. I love polka dots. My job as an interior designer is to make that room the best looking room with polka dots. I'm going to make sure everything is scaled around them. So my whole hashtag to my business is unique designs with you in mind. And that's how you should think. It's my home. I get to design it. I wasn't thinking about what the designer said. It's my house. And if I'm DIY my house, I'm going to do it the way I want to.
Exactly. And another thing I want to point out is I like what you're talking about with the furniture. And I always tell people when they're buying furniture and they look throughout some of the rooms, most average people have at least one or two sitting areas now, right? Family rooms, living room, so to speak. So my thing is that you buy good furniture because, like you were saying, you can maneuver that furniture around. It could be one chair could be over there, but if you should be able to take that furniture and move it to some other area within your home. So, like you said, it's not about going out and buying something new all the time. Like I said, something as simple as a throw could be put on it, or a new pillow. But even taking that one piece or two pieces, you may have to put in the other room, put the other pieces in another space. It's about spending the money on things that are valuable, that are going to be able that you can use consistently because.
So in your space, so when people ask me, say it's a living room, they say, Wandra, where should I put my money? I say the number one, if you buy furniture, is the sofa, because you want that sofa to last. You know, and I understand. Exactly. I always emphasize the sofa because the sofa people gonna sit on all the time. You may lay on it all the time. You don't want to get the sofa with the fake leather, and then next thing you know, all the stuff is rubbing off. You seen people with that? Because it was cheap. Just be plain, okay? You don't want to get, if you have kids or if you don't have kids, you need to make sure the fabric on that sofa is a fabric that is, we call it, let me think of the name. I'm trying to think of the name. It's the quality of fabric that if some spill on it, you can clean it off. You need, the fabric really depends on the fabric you choose. You know, and I know some people, I love the velvet thing. Let's be practical. The velvet sofa, you sitting on it every day. Think about, but before you spending all this money on something, how many, is it just a sofa that's just going to sit there? You got to make sure that quality of fabric that's on that sofa is something that's going to last you. Unless you just got the money where you're trading out. I just point back to myself, not to point anything back. Me and my husband have been married 22 years now. The furniture we have in our family room, which now I'm going to finally buy some. But when we bought this furniture, it was leather, sofa, and chair. 16 years. The stuff cost us a lot of money, but it's good quality furniture. We've lived in 5 homes, and I was able to take that furniture. And I know people say, well, you were an interior designer. You knew how to design it right. It was, that may be that's kind of true, but we bought quality furniture. You know how people buy furniture and time they move, they can't even move it from one space to another. It's falling apart.
Because it's falling apart, exactly. And that's the key, and that's the whole point. So saying that people need to learn how to look at that furniture and know that, you know what, when I'm getting tired of it looking in this space, I'm going to move it somewhere else within my home. But like I said, if it's cheap, it doesn't matter where you have it at because it's going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart, and you can't move it anywhere else when the time needs to be done. Because furniture today is not cheap. It's actually much more expensive. Yeah. But there's so much fake crap out there that you have to know how to even choose
You got to know the bones of the furniture. You got to know the sofa, the springs in the sofa. So, I always tell people, when you go look for a sofa, sit on it. How do it feel? Can you feel the springs? Can you feel if you can already feel like this thing is not, or if you feel the arms of it, you can feel the heart. It's no cushion in the arms, So people I always say, I have clients, and I know over COVID, we start ordering furniture online and stuff. I'm not a big fan of ordering sofas online, because I feel like you need
I need to go see it, and I gotta sit in it.
It may look a certain way when you say, oh, I can get this, I saw it on so and so. When you get it, it's like, it's a piece of crap. You paid $2.99 because it's a piece of crap. People don't realize this. I hate, you need to really touch and feel it. So I'm that designer who like to take people to the furniture stores and say, hey, let's go sit on this furniture. Let's see how you feel. Because if you got to think about the aesthetics of the person who you're designing for. If it's a short person and they buy a sofa, they sit on the sofa. When they sit back, your knees are swinging like a little child because they can't even touch the floor. So you see what I'm saying? People don't think about that. You got to make sure the person you're designing for, that person fits the furniture. So if you're looking at it online, you don't know how your feet going to touch the floor and all that stuff. So, or you got to make sure that sofa fits your body. You have this, you put on a coat or a glove and it's just like, this was made for me. And
exactly.
When you don't mind paying for a nice chair, when it fits your body, you feel like, oh my God, I just want to go sit in my good chair.
Exactly. And just something right, but something as simple as even just the size.
The size.
When you talk about the sofas, there are sofas, there are apartment sofas, and then you have the love seat.
Yeah.
It used to be you only had the love seat and the sofa, but now they have all these different sizes. So when you're looking in your room, it's like, okay, well, I can't get this, this big old sofa. And I've done that before. I made that mistake one time. I said, I will never make that mistake again.
I tell people, when you go buy furniture, there's things you need to do. First, you need to measure your room, measure the door that is going to come through. You may not even be able to get that sofa through your front door.
Hello.
You're like, well, in the showroom, it looks so good. Well, let me explain. In the showroom, it's a big room. When you get in your space, say your space is 10 by 11. You done went out and bought this big 6-7 feet sofa you ain't gonna even be able to walk from side to side. Space planning is so major when people get ready to do a room. And people who don't design spaces, they just buy furniture and put in there. But did you even measure the space? Do you know if it's fit? Your room that used to look so big, now you done got this furniture, you can't even move around it. You gotta everything is so tight. So that's big key when you're getting ready to buy furniture. First, before you go to the furniture store, let's measure your space. Get you a little piece of paper, get a ruler, and measure your room out. Okay? Then say, okay, this sofa is this size. Get a little square, measure on each side. I know I'm telling you stuff, but this is design 101. For any interior designer who people thinking about, make sure you learn how to measure your client's room out before you go buying furniture, taking them to the furniture store, picking out all this pretty stuff that don't fit. They can't even get it. Is there stairs involved? Do you have to if you're in an apartment? How am I going to get this stuff? I just bought this brand new sofa. I can't get it up the stairs of the apartment building. People don't think. They just go by and then they can't even get it. They get big flat screen TVs. The TV is bigger than the wall they're putting it on. Let's be right. And did you think before you bought that big old TV, what wall you gonna put it on? So
and even when it is up on the wall, it takes up the whole
wall. And you got so big, and you got this room, and it's the TV is like, oh my God. So think before I'll be like, oh yeah, your designer, you did great. Look how pretty it is. We all can see how big.
Right, exactly. That's all you see is wall. All you see is that one item. And that's the thing. And I think, like I said, with everything in any space within the house, it's truly taking the time to understand what that space is used for. Why do you want to change things? And if you do want to change things, how are you going to go about doing it and doing it the right way? So, this part of the conversation I think is so important because people, like I said, they want to go out and get new things, through years. I want to get some new designs and some new stuff. But like I said, it's about the trends. People always go by the trends instead of truly going by what's in their heart or what they see or what they really want to get and know how to get it. So having these conversations are really important, and then having them.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody. Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
With people like you who are true interior designers is very important. And I know, not everybody feels like they can afford an interior designer, but at the same time, like I said, basic 101 steps of designing your home or designing any space within your home, it's important to get that information. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your location and how you travel. I know, like I said, you're in Easton, Pennsylvania. So if you have people that you come and visit, outside of Pennsylvania, how does that process work for you? And then tell people how they can get a hold of you and so forth.
So the process of, say, you said two things. Like some people say it's too expensive to hire an interior designer, I can't afford it. But I sometimes say, maybe it's worth it because I'm going to save you money, even if it's you doing it yourself. I think to myself, if somebody could just talk to me for an hour and you telling me everything you go, and I just like the things I just mentioned to you, be like, wow, Wandra, I didn't think about it. I needed to measure my space. That's valuable. I just saved you a whole lot of money that you would have been bought a sofa, and you'd be like, wow, that was worth talking to. I had a client, when you say how can people talk to me that's not in my area of where I live at, I now do what we call on-site visits of online. And what I do is tell people, like we're Zooming. I say, okay, we Zoom, you show me your space. Mm-hmm. And you say, okay, I just want to book 2 hours. I try to do you got to book at least 2 hours with me. And in that 2 hours, I promise I'm going to deliver looking at your space. I'm going to ask you these questions. I'll send you a questionnaire before and say, this is, so if you once you sign my thing and okay, I've looked at this. So we get on the call, I'm already going to know the size of your space. I'm already going to know, okay, you're going to tell me everything you needed. So my thing as an interior designer, I'm going to tell you, if you tell me your room is this size, I'm going to say, hey, you can't get a king size bed. I know you want a king size bed, but that's not going to fit. So I'm going to educate that person on why. And they'll be like, well, why? I'm like, okay, if you put a king size bed in this room and this is all you got, you're not going to have no space to get in inside the bed. I'm tell you why I'm saying that. I'm just not going to make you feel like why you can't. Now, if you go do it on your own, but once I make it so practical for you, I'm helping you, So that's online designing. It's a great thing for me, especially during COVID. I learned it, being able to help people virtually, So if you say, okay, Wandra, here's a room, I need you to help me go shop for everything I need in the room, make sure I get the right elements picked out. I'm going to send you what I'm going. You can click and you can purchase it, but I'm going to have everything laid out, the right size, the right lighting. We're going to review it. You go shop for it. So I'm able to help people that way. Okay. So that's the way I do it. But the way if you want to contact me, you can contact me through my email, Wandra at WCA Interiors. You can call me, 610-393-0757. You can reach me on my social media, Wandra at Instagram, WCA Interiors, Facebook, WCA Interiors. I am realizing I'm becoming a big fan of Google, because what I realize is when people are looking for stuff, they may not go to Instagram or Facebook, but they may Google interior designers in Easton, Pennsylvania, or interior designers or Black interior designers. So I'm trying my best now to work with Google more than because that's what a lot of people do. They may not be the social media people. So, but you can always find me. You go out on Google, you can find me, Wandra WCA Interiors on Google, and you can look me up and, like that. So there's all kind of ways. I'm always willing to help people.
So in other words, there ain't no excuses, right?
You can find me,
You cannot find Miss Wandra Cain, okay?
Call me and say, hey, Wandra, this is my budget. I will say I try to work with everyone. I don't turn people down saying, oh, I'm sorry, your budget is, I'm not that designer who said, oh, I can only work with you if you got $10,000. Nothing wrong with those designers who do that, but I still have a heart to help people. I may not be able to do everything hands-on, but there's a way I can help you. You still can be able to make your room well, but I can still get paid also.
Exactly. Key piece right there. So just tell the viewers one more time what's your website address.
My website is www.WCAinteriordesign.com.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what.
You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I would love to.
Yes. And the thing I love about when you are on Instagram and Facebook, but especially Instagram, that's why I like to follow you the most at, is the things that you show, the befores and the afters, the great promo videos. That is probably the most important piece, so people can kind of get a true understanding of what it really means to be an actual designer, an interior designer. So important, because like I said, there's nothing wrong with us doing it ourselves, but if you can get some great pointers and you can work with you, that is probably the most important part, is truly seeing the value of what you bring to the table. So, definitely loving those videos that you're bringing out. I know
I tell people I wasn't always one who liked to be,
I know, it's just
here in front of the camera. But I found a way. I just said, you know what? I am who I am. And most of the time, you ain't going to see me dressed all up all the time. But I will show you I work. So I show behind the scenes. I'm with the baseball hat on. I'm doing the work. I really love going to the job site. I love helping the contractors because I learn how to do stuff. And I remember I was showing someone how to do wallpaper. They was like, I thought that was easy. I was like, wallpaper is not as easy as people think it is. So I show people, you got to measure the patterns. You got to measure the wall. And the wall may be not level or the plumb. So, I just show it, and hey, go for it. If you can learn from it and do it, but just know it's not going to be easy as you think it is. So exactly. I love sharing those behind the scenes. So.
Exactly. And like she was just saying, everybody, that several years ago, we started talking about doing videos. This one right here was happening. Okay, so we have evolved a lot in the last several years. So I'm so proud of you.
But it was people like Kimberly, my love, that said, I was like, oh my God, why? And I'm still like, but I think it is with you, Kimberly. I feel so comfortable talking to you. I just talk and maybe it's just me that I've gotten older. That I am who I am, take me or leave me.
Yeah.
So, I think that may be a big part of it.
But, like I said, the changes you have made and the things that you were doing to put everything out there, it's great to be able to see your beautiful face. I mean, obviously, but to know that you can see the products and, how you work things, I think that's usually what gravitates people, especially in the type of business you have. So like I said, I'm just proud that you've made the steps you've made, because we were cracking up several years ago when we were trying to do a video like this. We didn't even get it started, okay? So it was hilarious. I mean, I go back and look at those videos. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, we have made it, so it's okay. It's okay. So,
when I'm doing podcasts with other people, I just always think of you, how you just be yourself, relax. So now I could just hear you saying and I just tell my truth. I think that's what helped me, Kimberly, is I don't have to be like anyone else. Just be me, and I believe that God got the right people. If he gave me this gift, he have the right people for me to work with. And I just have to believe in it and just go forward. It ain't always easy, my sister. There's a lot of days I go, what the hell?
Yes,
There's a lot of days. I feel with people. Some days I be like, I can't do this. And my husband's like, Wandra. I'm like, I just need a
I know. It's every day you want to quit, right? It's like,
I can't do this today. I'm working so hard. And, like, the year have started the first, but I'll say this. I was working so hard last year. I was so happy I was getting the clients. And I was scared. You're like, these are going good. People are calling me and I'm working. And I was scared. I did get to the point where, like, I can't stop, because if I stop, those clients going to go somewhere else. And what happened was, I did get stopped. God stopped me. I ended up having my knee. I couldn't walk. My knee was. I had just did the show house in Lehigh Valley. I was in a place. I was only one of us on the inside of the house, and I really wanted to make, black designer in this place. And I did a lot. I took down wallpaper. I took down paint. I was doing it, and I didn't. It was hard to get contractors. Don't want to work for you for free. You're doing a show house. You gotta either pay. They don't. You may be doing it free, but they're not coming on to do stuff free. Right. So a lot of stuff I had to do myself, and I was working, and then I had my other clients, and I got worn down so much. So by the time the house was over and everything was done, I had hurt my knee, and I had torn a ligament, and I didn't even know. I just thought I had, been down on the floor. I just thought it was, and I went to the doctor, and my ligament in my knee was torn. It was so big, I couldn't walk. So when I I cried. I was like, oh my God, what am I cooking? I was so scared.
In the world, okay, it's done. My business is done.
I was like, oh my God, I don't have no people to go to work like me. But that's one thing I learned, Kimberly. We can hire people all day long, but there's only one Kimberly gonna work hard for her business. And I had to realize that, like, I can want people to work hard like me, but it's not their business. They don't have the passion for it. And I just prayed, and I just asked God to help me realize that. And so now I be like, okay, it is what it is. My business is still going. So he shut me down for me to sit down and reflect and work on my processes and work on valuing. Wandra, you got to charge. If people don't want to work with you, let them go. And that's when I came in and turned the thing of saying, this is what I charge. I can't, if you can work with me, fine. If not, it's okay. But that thing right there is what made me value what I had to offer, So, I don't know. I tell, that's just my story is, it's your business, it's your baby. And like a contractor said to me, he said, Wandra, working with you, this is the one thing I realized. You take it so personal.
Because it is personal.
And that's at first I'm like,
that's the key. And that's the key. You can't be in business and not think of how personal.
These people how like it's yours. And I said to him, well, it is personal. It is personal to me. I'm not gonna change. And if you don't want to work with me, and you don't have to, but it's personal.
Right.
So, but it took me falling down, God stopping me to realize, you take it personally. This is how you should be. Don't let other people try to change you to half-do people. That's not who I am.
Exactly. All right. Well, on that note.
Do your best. Be your best. Be your uniquely designed self.
There you go. There you go.
Right, love. I thank
y'all heard it live. You heard it live from this most beautiful, wonderful lady.
God, I love you. Thank you so much.
Love you much. And I'm so thankful that we got the time to spend and talk about what's been going on with you. And then, of course, giving the tips out to everybody about how to spruce up their home and do it on a budget. And again, for those who want to reach out, look, if you can't remember Ms. Wandra's information, I will make sure that you get it. Reach out to me. DM us, all this information will be available in the show notes. So please, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of 360 Me. And again, thank you, Miss Wandra, for coming on.
Thank you. Let me laugh with you. I love Kimberly. She just let me be.
And you owe me a visit, lady.
And next time we will be in person doing this. It's a promise. In 2023, we'll be in person together. Having fun. Drinking mimosas. I love Love you, my love. Have a great evening.
Love you too. All right. And thank you so much, everybody, again. I hope you appreciated and enjoyed this episode 360. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search. Match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.